With each queen, Krishna himself was in a different form, acting in different ways. In one form, he was talking with his wife. In another form, he was petting his children. And in another form, he was performing some household duty. These different activities are conducted by the Lord when he is in his emotional forms, which are known as Vaibhav Prakash expansions. Similarly, there are other unlimited expansions of Krishna's forms, but even when they are divided or expanded without limit, they are still one and the same. There is no difference between one form and another. That is the absolute nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.39.44 to 57, it is stated that when Akrur was accompanying Krishna and Balaram from Gokul to Mathura, he entered the waters of the Yamuna river and could see all the planets of the spiritual sky. He also saw the Lord in his Vishnu form, as well as Narad and the four Kumaras who were worshipping him. As stated in Bhagavad Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47, Anye cha sanskritatmano vidhinabhinhitena te yajanti tvan mayas tvam vai bahumurte ek murtikam. The Supreme Lord's many worshippers, the Vaishnavas or Aryans, are purified by the various processes of worship they perform according to their convictions and spiritual understanding. Each process of worship involves understanding different forms of the Lord as mentioned in the scriptures, but the ultimate idea is to worship the Supreme Lord Himself. In his Vaibhav Prakash feature, the Lord manifests Himself as Balaram. The Balaram feature is as good as Krishna himself, the only difference being that Krishna's bodily hue is blackish and Balaram's is whitish. The Vaibhav Prakash form was also displayed when Krishna appeared before his mother Devaki in the four-handed form of Narayan just when he entered the world. Then, at the request of his parents, he transformed himself into a two-handed form. Thus, he sometimes manifests four hands and sometimes two. The two-handed form is Vaibhav Prakash and the four-handed form is Prabhav Prakash. In his personal form, Krishna is just like a cowherd boy and he thinks of himself in that way. But when he is in the Vasudev form, he thinks of himself as the son of a Kshatriya and feels like a Kshatriya, a princely administrator. In his two-handed form as the cowherd son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna fully exhibits his opulence, beauty, wealth, attractiveness, and pastimes. Indeed, in some Vaishnav literature, it is found that sometimes, in his form as Vasudev, he becomes attracted to his form of Govinda in Vrindavan. Thus, as Vasudev, he sometimes desires to enjoy as Govinda does, although the Govinda form and the Vasudev form are ultimately one and the same. In this regard, there is a passage in the Lalit Madhav 4.19 in which Krishna addresses Uddhava as follows. My dear friend, the form of this cowherd boy Govinda attracts me. Indeed, I wish to be like the damsels of Raja, who are also attracted by this form of Govinda. Similarly, later in Lalita Madhav 8.34, Krishna says, "Oh, How wonderful it is! Who is this person? After seeing him, I am so much attracted that I now desire to embrace him just like Radhika. There are also forms of Krishna that are a little different from his original form, and these are called Tad Ekatma Rupa forms. These may be further divided into the Vilasa and Swamsh forms, which in turn have many different features and can be divided into Prabhav and Vaibhav forms. As far as the Vilasa forms are concerned, there are innumerable Prabhav Vilasas headed by Krishna's expansions as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. Sometimes the Lord thinks of himself as a cowherd boy, and sometimes he thinks of himself as Vasudev's son, a Kshatriya prince, and this thinking of Krishna is called his pastimes. Actually, he is in the same form in his Vaibhav Prakash and Prabha Vilas, but he appears differently as Krishna and Balaram. His expansions as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh are the original Chaturvyuhu or four-armed forms. There are innumerable four-armed manifestations in different planets and different places. For instance, they are manifested in Dwarka and Mathura eternally. From the four original four-handed forms are manifested the 24 principal four-armed forms, which are called Vaibhav Vilas. From the four original four-handed forms are manifested the 24 principal four-armed forms, which are called Vaibhav Vilas. They are named differently according to the placement of the conch, club, lotus, and disc in their hands. The same four principal manifestations of Krishna are found on each planet in the spiritual sky known as Narayan Lok or Vaikuntha Lok. In the Vaikuntha Lok, Krishna is manifested in the four-handed form of Narayana. From each Narayana are manifested the forms of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. Thus, Narayana is the center, and the four forms of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh surround the Narayan form. Each of these four forms again expands into three, and these all have different names beginning with Keshava. These forms are 12 in all, and again, they are known by different names according to the placement of the symbols in their hands. As far as the Vasudev form is concerned, the three expansions manifested from him are Keshava, Narayan, and Madhava. The three forms expanded from Sankarshan are known as Govinda, Vishnu, and Sri Madhusudana. It should be noted that this Govinda is not the same Govinda manifested in Vrindavan as the son of Nanda Maharaj. Similarly, from Pradyumna expand the three forms known as Trivikram, Vamana, and Sridhar. And the three forms expanded from Anirudh are known as Rishikesha, Padmanabha, and Damodar. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, we've
Yeah.
completed.
Mataji, I think that you just go on for some more time because
Oh,
I mean this
sure,
is a too technical discussion, so we'll just keep hearing for a while.
sure.
The main thing of this thing is to just hear attentively. That's all. This section, because it's very difficult on a Zoom class to get into the details of this. In the sense that I remember once one devotee, one of my teachers, he presented this in the form of a chart. I don't have the chart with me anymore, but it's a very nicely done chart with all the different explanations. Anyway, for now, can you just keep reading? If I can find the chart, I'll post it on the group actually.
Okay.
Else, yeah,
Yes, Prabhuji, that'll be really helpful if you can find it.
yeah, sure, sure. Give me a week's time by next week. You can please remind me also. Otherwise, I will forget. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes. Chapter 7, Unlimited Forms of Godhead. According to the Vaishnav Almanac, the 12 months of the year are named according to the 12 Vaikuntha forms of Lord Krishna, and these forms are known as the predominating deities for the 12 months. This calendar begins with the month of Margashirsha, which is equivalent to late November and early December. The Vaishnavas call this month Keshav. December January is called Narayana. Jan Feb Madhava. Feb March Govinda. March April Vishnu. April May Sri Madhusudana. May June Trivikrama. June July is called Vamana. July August Sridhara. August September Rishikesha. September October Padmanabha. And October November Damodar. This Damodar is different from the Damodar in Braj. The name Damodar was given to Krishna when he was bound with ropes by his mother. But the Damodar form, who is the predominating deity of the month of October November, is a different manifestation. Just as the months of the year are known according to the 12 different names of the Supreme Lord, members of the Vaishnav community mark 12 parts of the body according to these names. For instance, the tilak mark on the forehead is called Keshav, and on the stomach, chest, and arms, the other names are also given. These are the same names as those given the months. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh expand into 8 additional Vilasa Murtis. Their names are Purushottam, Achyut, Narasimha, Janardhan, Hari, Krishna, Adhokshaja, and Upendra. Adhokshaja and Purushottam are the Vilas forms of Vasudev. Similarly, Upendra and Achyut are the Vilas forms of Sankarshan. Narasimha and Janardhan, the Vilas forms of Pradyumna, and Hari and Krishna, the Vilas forms of Aniruddha. This Krishna is different from the original Krishna. These 28 forms, the 4 original Vishnu forms, the 12 Vaikuntha forms, and the 8 Vilas Murtis mentioned above, are known as Vilas manifestations of the Prabhav, 4-handed forms. And they are named differently according to the position of the symbolic representation: mace, disc, lotus flower, and conch shell. Out of these 24 Vilas forms, some are Vaibhav forms, such as Pradyumna, Trivikram, Vaman, Hari, and Krishna, which have different features. Thus, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh are Prabhav Vilas forms of Krishna, and there are a total of 20 further variations. All of these have Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky and are situated in 8 different directions. Although each of them resides eternally in the spiritual sky, some of them nonetheless appear in the material world also. In the spiritual sky, all the planets dominated by the Narayan feature are eternal. The topmost planet in the spiritual sky is called Krishna Loka, which is divided into 3 portions: Gokul, Mathura, and Dwarka. In the Mathura portion, the form of Keshav is always situated. He is represented on this earthly planet in Mathura, India, where the Keshav Murti is worshipped. Similarly, there is a Purushottam form in Jagannath Puri in Orissa. In Anandaranya, there is the form of Vishnu. And in Mayapur, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, there is the form of Hari. Many other forms are also situated in various places on the earth. Not only in this universe, but in all other universes as well, these forms, sorry, but in all other universes as well, these forms of Krishna are distributed everywhere. It is indicated that this earth is divided into 7 islands, which are the 7 continents, and it is understood that on every island there are similar forms. But at the present moment, these are found only in India. Although from the Vedic literature we can understand that there are similar forms in other parts of the world, at present there is no information of such location. These forms of Krishna are distributed throughout the world and throughout the universes to give pleasure to the devotee. It is not that devotees are born only in India. There are devotees in all parts of the world, but they have simply forgotten their identity. These forms incarnate not only to give pleasure to the devotees, but to re establish devotional service and perform other activities which vitally concern the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some of these forms are incarnations mentioned in the scriptures, such as the Vishnu incarnation, Trivikrama incarnation, Narasimha incarnation, and Vaman incarnation. In the Siddhartha Samhita, there is a description of the 24 forms of Vishnu, and these forms are named according to the position of the symbols in their 4 hands. When describing the positions of objects in the hands of the Vishnu Murtis, one should begin with the lower right hand and then move to the upper right hand, to the upper left hand, and finally to the lower left hand. In this way, Vasudev is represented by club, conch shell, disc, lotus flower. Sankarshan is represented by club, conch shell, lotus flower, disc. Similarly, Pradyumna is represented by disc, conch shell, club, lotus flower. Anirudh is represented by disc, club, conch shell, and lotus flower. In the spiritual sky, the representations of Narayan are 20 in number and are described as follows: Sri Keshav, lotus, conch shell, disc, and club. Narayana, conch shell, lotus, club, and disc. Sri Madhava, club, disc, conch, and lotus. Sri Govinda, disc, club, lotus, and conch. Vishnumurti, club, lotus, conch, and disc. Madhusudana, disc, conch, lotus, and club. Trivikrama, lotus, club, disc, and conch. Sri Vaman, conch, disc, club, and lotus. Sridhar, lotus, disc, club, and conch. Rishikesha, club, disc, lotus, and conch. Padmanabha, conch, lotus, disc, and club. Damodar, lotus, disc, club, and conch. Purushottam, disc, lotus, conch, and club. Achyut, club, lotus, disc, and conch. Narasimha, disc, lotus, club, and conch. Janardhan, lotus, disc, conch, and club. Sri Hari, conch, disc, lotus, and club. Sri Krishna, conch, club, lotus, and disc. Adhokshaja, lotus, club, conch, and disc. And Upendra, conch, club, disc, and lotus. According to Hayashirsha Pancharatra, there are 16 forms, and these are also named according to the positions of the disc and so on. The conclusion is that the supreme original personality of Godhead is Krishna. He is called Leela Purushottam, and he resides principally in Vrindavan as the son of Nanda Maharaj. It is also learned from the Hayashirsha Pancharatra that there are 9 forms protecting the 2 Puris known as Mathurapuri and Dwarkapuri. These 9 forms are Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh, Narayan, Narasimha, Hayagriv, Varha, and Brahma. These are different manifestations of the Prakash and Vilas forms of Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya next informed Sanatan Goswami that there are different forms of Swamsh as well, and these are divided into the Sankarshan division and the Incarnation division. The Sankarshan division includes these 3 Purushavatars: Karanodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. And the other division comprises the Leela avatars, such as the Lord's incarnations as the fish and a tortoise. There are 6 kinds of incarnations: the Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, 1. The Purusha avatars, 2. The Leela avatars, 3. The Guna avatars, 4. The Manvantar avatars, 5. The Yuga avatars, and 6. The Satya Avesha avatars. Out of the 6 Vilas manifestations of Krishna, there are 2 divisions based on his age, and these are called Balya and Poganda. As the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna in his original form enjoys both of these childhood aspects, namely Balya and Poganda. We can conclude that there is no end to the expansions and incarnations of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya described some of them to Sanatan just to give him an idea of how the Lord expands and how he enjoys. These conclusions are confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:3-26. There it is said that there is no limit to the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, just as there is no limit to the waves of the ocean. Krishna first incarnates as the 3 Purushavatars, namely the Mahavishnu or Karanodakshai avatar, the Garbhodakshai avatar, and the Shirodakshai avatar. This is confirmed in the Satvat Tantra. Krishna's energies can also be divided into 3: his energy of thinking, his energy of feeling, and his energy of acting. When he exhibits his thinking energy, he is the Supreme Lord. When he exhibits his feeling energy, he is Lord Vasudev. And when he exhibits his acting energy, he is Sankarshan Balaram. Without the Lord's thinking, feeling, and acting, there would be no possibility of creation. Although there is no creation in the spiritual world as there is in the material world, both worlds are manifestations of Krishna's energy of acting, which he carries out in the form of Sankarshan Balaram. The spiritual world, the Vaikuntha planets and Krishna Loka, is situated in Krishna's energy of thinking. Although there is no creation in the spiritual world, which is eternal, it is still to be understood that the spiritual planets depend on the thinking energy of the Supreme Lord. This thinking energy is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.2, where it is said, the supreme abode, known as Goloka, is manifested like a lotus flower with hundreds of petals. Everything there is manifested by Ananta, who is a form of Balaram or Sankarshan. The material cosmic manifestation and its different universes are manifested through Maya or the material energy, but one should not think that the material energy or material nature is the cause of this cosmic manifestation. Rather, it is caused by the Supreme Lord who uses his different expansions to act through material nature. In other words, there is no possibility of any creation without the superintendence of the Supreme Lord. The form of the Lord who causes the energy of material nature to bring about creation is Sankarshan. And it is understood that this cosmic manifestation is created when the material nature comes in contact with the superintendent energy of the Supreme Lord Sankarshan. The example is given of iron becoming hot in contact with fire, and when red hot, acting just like fire. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10:46-31, it is said that Balaram and Krishna are the origin of all living entities and that these two personalities enter into everything. A list of incarnations is given in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3 and they are as follows. 1. The Kumaras. 2. Narad. 3. Varha. 4. Matsya. 5. Yagya. 6. Naranarayan. 7. Kardami Kapila. 8. Dattatreya. 9. Hayashirsha. 10. Hansa. 11. Dhruvapriya or Krishnigarbha. 12. Rishabh. 13. Prithu. 14. Narsimha. 15. Kurma. 16. Dhanvantari. 17. Mohini. 18. Vaman. 19. Bhargav or Parshuram. 20. Raghavendra. 21. Vyas. 22. Pralambari Balaram. 23. Krishna. 24. Buddha. And 25. Kalki. Because almost all of these 25 Leela avatars appear in one day of Brahma, which is called a Kalpa. They are sometimes called Kalpa avatars. Out of these incarnations, Hamsa and Mohini are not permanent, but Kapila, Dattatreya, Rishabh, Dhanvantari, and Vyasa are 5 eternal forms, and they are more celebrated. Kurma, the tortoise incarnation, Matsya, the fish, Naranarayan, Varaha, the boar, Hayashirsha, Prishnigarbha, and Balaram are considered incarnations of Vaibhav. Similarly, there are 3 Guna avatars or incarnations of the qualitative modes of nature, and these are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. There are 14 Manvantar avatars. 1. Yagya. 2. Vibhu. 3. Satyasena. 4. Hari. 5. Vaikuntha. 6. Ajit. 7. Vaman. 8. Sarvabhauma. 9. Rishabh. 10. Vishwaksena. 11. Dharmasetu. 12. Sudhama. 13. Yogeshwara. And 14. Brihadabhanu. Out of these 14 Manvantar avatars, Yagya and Vaman are also Leela avatars. The Manvantar avatars are also known as Vaibhav avatars. The 4 Yuga avatars are also described in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Satya Yuga, the incarnation of God is white. In the Treta Yuga, he is red. In the Dwapar Yuga, he is blackish. And the Kali Yuga, he is also blackish. But sometimes, in a special Kali Yuga, his color is yellowish, as in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As far as Shaktya Avesh avatars are concerned, they include Kapila, Rishabh, Ananta, Brahma, although sometimes the Lord himself becomes Brahma, Chatuhusena, Chatuhusana, the Kaumaras, which are the Kaumaras who are the incarnation of knowledge, Narada, the incarnation of devotional service, King Prithu, the incarnation of administrative power, and Parashuram, who is the incarnation who subdues evil principles. Hare Krishna, we have completed chapter 7. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
No, Madhuri, don't cut it. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Madhuri. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So here we see how uh, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uh, in bringing us Krishna consciousness has also brought us a science in its entirety. You don't find this kind of detailed descriptions of spiritual substance, anywhere in any literature. It's not possible to find such detailed, uh, uh, minute explanations. So that's one thing which we can appreciate, that even though we are in Kali Yuga, we have the highest information ever attainable. Like people, what is it? Look for knowledge, right? They're very fond of the search for knowledge. So, but by one's own endeavor, how much knowledge can one attain? Prabhupada used to say, Kupamandu Kanyaya, frog in the well. The frog does not even have the capacity to imagine beyond its well, does not even have the capacity. So when it does not even have the capacity, how much can it conceive within its own mind? So here, this kind of info, this is a flood of information, oceanic, from outside our sense perception. And it's in such great detail. So when Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is a great science, it is a great science. We can see it. As we read these kind of descriptions, if we can appreciate the sense of how vast and gigantic Krishna consciousness is. Like here it says that although the Lord in his Vasudeva form also uh, desires to see Krishna. Now, first of all, there is no difference. Prabhupada himself, Prabhupada himself explains this. In fact, from teachings of Lord Chaitanya, there is no difference between Vasudeva and Krishna. But nevertheless, Vasudeva also desires to see Krishna. So, like that, uh, although these are categories, not categories, there are differentiations among the forms of the Lord, but all the forms are absolute and equally powerful. The example is like the moon, the full moon is the full manifestation of the moon. There's no such thing as a half moon. It is a full moon which is not visible to us fully. That's all. It actually is the full moon. So like that, all the expansions of Krishna are all like the full moon, are all like the moon. So they don't manifest like Krishna all the characteristics of God. That's all. So Krishna is the form which manifests all the qualities of God in its fullest. Any thoughts, reflections, questions? Anything that you read here which you are thinking about, or which made you wonder? Or
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I so I think somewhere Prabhupada mentions that to have so many incarnations or so many forms of Krishna is to increase, is for the devotee, right? For
Yes,
the pleasure of the devotee.
yes.
So, Proji, my question is that um, so there are forms in the spiritual sky and there are forms in the material sky. So, so the purpose of all of them are for the pleasure of the devotee, right? I mean,
See, the point is for in the material world, if it is not for the pleasure of the devotees, the Lord can just. Why does the Lord have to incarnate actually? So there are internal reasons, external reasons. External reasons is to establish uh, religious principles and annihilate the demons and things like that, right? But to annihilate a demon, he just has to annihilate demons. He just has to create an earthquake. That's it. Finished. Everybody will be annihilated one shot, or something else for that matter. Anything. So what is the big deal in it for God? Nothing. So although yes, he speaks about coming personally to Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavama Yuge. He does all that, but that is not the primary purpose of his avatar. That's the idea. Although he does that, that's not the primary purpose of his incarnation. The primary purpose of incarnation is to give pleasure. The reason being that these activities can be performed. Krishna need not personally come to perform these activities. Krishna or his incarnations, they don't need to come to perform these activities of killing the demons.
yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, I have one question. Why Krishna chose to come in different incarnations rather than being himself? Being the only one and come himself.
Why he comes in different incarnations? To reciprocate with the different moods of the devotees.
But Krishna can himself achieve all those moods, right?
Krishna can himself, I didn't understand it. Krishna can himself, can you just repeat it?
I said that you said that Krishna reciprocates as per the moods of the devotees, but all the moods are present in Krishna himself. So why does he still need to come in different incarnations?
All the moods are present in Krishna, and he's also expanding the into different uh, forms to represent different moods. He plus the other moods like that. He can expand himself individually into each of these things, right? For the different moods. That's his prerogative.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danval Pranam.
Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhuji, yeah, such information it is Krishna's compassion that we are able to know such things in while living in the material world. So this information seems to be so secret and so means it's like Krishna is revealing himself. So while we are preaching or while we are telling about Krishna to others, that time can we tell all these points? Like, is it okay?
Which points? Which points?
Regarding the avatars and incarnations of Krishna, which is mentioned here, what we just read.
Yeah, this book is meant for everyone, no?
Okay. And since Krishna has so many incarnations, and like there is a difference between the qualities, of Vishnu and Krishna, no? Krishna has more qualities than Vishnu. So in this regarding this incarnations, is there any difference in the qualities also, or like the qualities are equal to that of Krishna?
They are all exactly identical. There's no difference at all. Absolutely the same.
Okay, okay, okay.
But
Thank you,
but
Prabhu.
to display a predominance, a predominance, a certain mood is exhibited in each of the incarnations, each of the expansions.
Okay, but the
Not
complete is Krishna.
complete is Krishna. It's like the full moon. The moon is the moon. So like that, right? So all the incarnations are like the moons only. But the moon. Correct, sir. So it's like the full moon. The full moon is and the other moons are all the same moon only. It's not that there is half moon, there's quarter moon. Everything is the same moon.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, for me, I would not remember anything. I mean, very little out of this entire these two page chapters. So the things to actually understand here is one, that Krishna has unlimited expansions and incarnations, and the reason why he has so many forms is to reciprocate with devotees and for their pleasure. Is that correct, Projit? Just this much understanding through these two chapters, is that okay, or there's another any other point that we should keep in mind?
See, in regards to what is it? In regards to remembering, there is no, I don't know how to put it. Do your best. Do your best. That's it. What I mean, it is preferable that we know everything, right? But if you cannot, what can be done? It's like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Does that mean that we should also make like a chart and have all these incarnations in the name and try to understand at least how it
No,
how
we not see. There's a question of trying to understand or whatever. That comes by Krishna's mercy only. But by reading, we get to understand. So it's not like we do some academic study. Okay, do this, do that, and all that. Whatever we can. I mean, if we can make a chart, okay, we can make a chart. Whatever, just so that we assimilate uh, what is being taught by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's all. So, do we have to know everything? Yes, we have to. Right now, we don't know. So, what is to be done? Let's try. That's all. I don't want to give a compromised answer. Okay, no, it is important for all the followers of Lord Chaitanya to know everything that he taught.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, if you have a moment and if there are no further questions, can I ask about Guru Maharaj's uh, safari plans for March?
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, we are also planning from here to join, but we'll not be able to join for like 2 weeks. We might be coming for a week or something. So, in that case, whom should we contact? And is Guru Maharaj staying, or the programs will happen in Vrindavan, or is it somewhere else around areas? Any idea, Prabhuji, so that we can also make plans accordingly?
It's across many places, across different forests. Okay,
Right.
but whatever is reachable from Vrindavan, I mean, Guru Maharaj is going to be in Govardhan until the 4th, from
Okay.
4th to or 4th or 5th, I guess. Sorry, what is it? 4th or 5th, something like that. And then from there, he will be in, after that, he will be in Vrindavan. So if you want to join, maybe that's a good time to join when he's in Vrindavan.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, we are also thinking like that because um, my daughter's exams will also get over by first, so I think we can come after that.
Yeah, okay, that should be good.
And Prabhuji, about the arrangements and all, the numbers which are there, should we directly contact them? Is it possible that for few days arrangement can be done, or is it only for the entire safari? Do you have any idea?
See, personally, I'm joining, but I'm not depending on this thing for any arrangement. What arrangement do you need actually? Bus. What arrangement are you talking about?
Prabhuji, stay and transport and prasadam.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I don't think is available in. First of all, there's only 300 rooms. 300 people can. They have only a facility for 300 people to register.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and the expected crowd is 1,200.
I'm sure.
So that, I mean, that is impossible. Even if you want to say 1 or 2 days, that's not possible. Either it's the whole thing or not, like that.
Right. So it's better to make our own arrangements and
Oh yes,
join.
if you're joining for a shorter way, it's fine. Definitely, you have to make your own arrangements.
Sure.
With the existing arrangements itself, they're under heavy pressure. They, I mean, it doesn't look like they'll be able to meet all the devotees who want to join. We have to see how many bookings come, what happens. But right now, the expected this thing is about 1,200.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I mean, see, they don't have some sophisticated arrangement system where they can arrange for a few days, nothing. So even if somebody says okay, but then finally when you go, I don't know whether you'll get a room. Stuff. I don't know if you know how safari is organized. It's a very spontaneous thing actually.
Okay.
So there may be some advance arrangement, but then yeah, you can still check with them and see. You can get some confirmed thing in writing and all that. You can still check. I don't know
Okay.
how it is this year, but generally I know how it is.
Okay. How does it happen, Prabhuji? वैसे because if we are staying somewhere else, I mean, if we've made our own arrangements and we join from morning to evening, whatever the program is, we can join in with the safari, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. But for prasadam, I think you may have to pay, but that's okay. That
Yeah.
you'd inform them or whatever.
Yes. We're all very excited because Guru Maharaj is coming to Vrindavan and we'll get a chance to be in a safari with him. So,
Yeah,
looking
wonderful. Yes, a
forward.
wonderful opportunity.
Mm.
Anyway, you contact them and see how much information you can get, and then you tell me what information you got. I'll give you some feedback on that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll end here then. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyevacha paritanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktavranda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.